Florida as I speak, campaigning, talking about abortion. Vice President Kamala Harris just coming off a trip to Wisconsin talking about abortion and nursing care, health care issues, reproductive health care, as she calls it. But where's Trump? Trump is ordered to be in the courtroom. So they have locked down the opponent to President Joe Biden. He's locked inside of a courtroom. And so this is crippling a campaign, if you will. So former President Donald J. Trump just speaking out in Manhattan. Look, they want to, if they get their way, Alvin Bragg would love for Trump to be slapped with a jail sentence or fines for allegedly breaking a judge's gag order, speaking out about the case against him, which is ridiculous. So Trump just spoke out as he headed into court in Manhattan. I want to get to that audio of Trump. I'll do a little breakdown there. Then I want to talk about Pennsylvania politics and what is the plan really. And I'll highlight for you on some of these different campaigns that we're looking at today. But here's Trump speaking out moments ago outside the Manhattan courtroom.
Pennsylvania, and we hope the people get out there and vote. It's important to vote to let them know that we're coming on November 5th. We're coming big. Today is preliminary, but still it's very important. And maybe they'll think also about a very good person who's running for the Senate in Pennsylvania, Dave McCormick, and he's doing a good job. He's working very hard, successful man, wants to put his success to the country. He'll be a very good senator. So hopefully they'll be behind Dave and get out there and vote today. So Pennsylvania, get out and vote. What's going on at the college level and the colleges, Columbia, NYU, and others, is a disgrace. And it's really on Biden. He has the wrong signal. He's got the wrong tone. He's got the wrong words. He doesn't know who he's backing. And it's a mess. And if this were me, he'd be after me. He'd be after me so much, but they're trying to give him a pass. But what's going on is a disgrace to our country. And it's all Biden's fault, and everybody knows it. He's got no message. He's got no compassion. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can't put two sentences together, frankly. He is the worst president in the history of our country. And again, what's going on is a disgrace. Now, it's interesting outside for great Americans, people that want to come down and they want to protest at the court, and they want to protest peacefully. We have more police presence here than anyone's ever seen. For blocks, you can't get near this courthouse. And yet you have nobody up at a college where you have very radical people wanting to rip the colleges down, the universities down.
Yeah, so that was former President Donald J. Trump. Sorry for the audio. That's what we get, and it's
every day.
I know.
Every day.
I'm sorry. It's just it's not us. It's them. CNN and Fox did carry at least part of that live. I think Fox carried the whole thing, but MSNBC, to nobody's surprise, did not carry it live. But it's a news story as he comes into the court, and that's how he has to campaign. Before court. Now he's stuck inside because this is the judge's order. He must be in there. It's a criminal trial. They want to send him to jail. It's ridiculous. And the important thing here, they call it the hush money trial. And I've talked about this for weeks. It's so annoying to me. And I know maybe I'm getting into the weeds a little bit about terminology. It is not a hush money trial. This has to do with bookkeeping. And the allegation here is that he was essentially trying to steal an election and lied about campaign records, and it's ridiculous. The feds passed on this, but more importantly, and the most important piece of this, is that if you look at, and this is in the record, I'm not making it up, I'm not skewing it, look at it for yourself, the allegation, and we did have the opening arguments yesterday, and we heard from the prosecution team. This is Alvin Bragg. It's ridiculous. It's not going anywhere. Trump will not... whatever a jury may or may not rule, this will be appealed. It'll be lost because, in fact, it's based on bookkeeping and payments that were all done in 2017. It was his first year of his presidency. So to claim that he did this to steal an election or to, I don't know, fraudulently do something with a campaign or an election is absurd because he had already won. The only thing you could argue is that the guy may have done something, or it looks bad that he had some interaction with this woman who was an adult film actress and pole dancer. It looks bad. Is he trying to shuffle that under the carpet? We don't know. It dates back to 19 years ago nearly, when Melania was pregnant with their son, Barron, who's about to graduate high school. I was pregnant at the same time with my David, by the way. I remember, I followed Melania Trump. I followed Trump at the time. So we're going back nearly 2 decades. That's what this is all stemming from. I just want to remind you of that because that's what it's about. It's not hush money. It's not current. I could go on. All right. So that was Trump. Why is he talking about Dave McCormick? Because obviously Dave McCormick is running in Pennsylvania unopposed. It's going to be McCormick v. Casey, right? Why is he talking about that? Why is he saying to you as voters, please go out and vote during this primary election? Because it's important that you are enthusiastic. And that is a sign. If Republicans come out in force today and vote R and you're voting red, that's a great sign for Trump come November. So maybe you're not too excited about McCormick. Maybe you're not too excited about this primary. Trump is saying, please do this to show your spirit, your enthusiasm for Republicans, for the GOP, and what that means for the future of our nation, for the economy. Look at what's happening, the southern border, etc. If there is a lackluster outcome of this for Democrats, that's seen as not a good sign for Democrats, for Biden. And so when you think about, let's say, the African-American vote, if people aren't coming out on this beautiful 69-degree sunny day, they're not coming out for Democrats or for Biden, maybe that will be, I think certainly we've seen from the experts and the pundits, they've said this is not a good sign for the Biden campaign as people are just not excited. Then you have all the backlash with perhaps the Jewish vote. Maybe finally American Jews will say, you know what? I don't see this president as being 100% supportive of the safety of our Jewish students on campus. Look at what happened overnight. Oh my goodness. With 150 arrests that have happened. I said this, 6-something o'clock this morning. We saw these arrests happen. NYPD making these arrests, flares. This is not just a peaceful protest going on. So I'll go through the day and talk about some of these races that are critical. We know the Attorney General's race. We have 5 Democrats and 2 Republicans on the ballot. York County DA Dave Sunday, State Representative Craig Williams, Republican from Delaware County. And Sunday, by the way, is the state's party's endorsed candidate. But you have 2 Republicans vying for the AG's race. Remember, that was held by Shapiro, now governor. That's a big one. I'll also point you real quick here to Summer Lee. She is by far the most progressive incumbent Democrat who is being primaried, and that's an important one. I hope that, no matter what, this individual is a joke, does not represent Pennsylvania, in my humble opinion. And so Summer Lee, her primary challenger, Bhavini Patel, argues that Lee is far too extreme for the district to represent Pennsylvania. And so we're watching that one very carefully. Okay. And then I'll talk moving forward about U.S. Representative Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. I know you've said that he's a rhino and you may not like him and you may think he's the lesser brother to his late great brother, Mike Fitzpatrick, who was a dear friend of mine. But he does represent Purple Bucks County. Okay. And he manages to win that every year. And running against him, he's being primaried by Mark Houck, who you've heard me interview him. You've heard he's been on the Zioli show, etc. But Mark Houck is certainly somebody who is more conservative, right, than Fitzpatrick. Maybe you like Mark Houck, but can he win in a general election in Purple Bucks County? That's the question you've got to ask yourself. So both very good men running there in Bucks County, but Fitzpatrick, he wins time and time again and it's a tough one. And by the way, the only Republican, and this is important, in Congress, in the House, that we maintain that seat. So think about it, okay? Do we have our next guest? No, not yet. All right. I wasn't sure if we had our next guest or if we had one off the top. Let's go to Larry Krasner, our DA, our illustrious district attorney, who takes the cake. He holds this news conference yesterday, right? And this is all week. We've heard for, nearly a week, we heard, oh, there's an arrest warrant. And we've got a local congressman in Pennsylvania on the lam, an arrest warrant out because he violated a protection order by an ex-wife who we've heard he was texting her. He was showing up at the house. This is a domestic situation, but he's an accused, wife abuser. This is a serious case. I don't talk about domestics often. I don't talk about somebody's marriage or divorce. And I think we all tiptoe around this issue. But this is an issue where police were called, where a mother and wife is scared for her safety and the safety of her kids, okay? This is a representative whose family says, look, he's got mental health problems. But remember, we played the audio of him within the past, couple of months where he was clearly intoxicated. He was threatening women. He went after women and remember this, the female bartenders, and they were scared, and he was threatening them, and it got nasty. And they were saying this guy is threatening, and it's intimidating, and it's scary, and they thought that he was going to get physical. Police were called in. Isn't it amazing? Not really. We shouldn't be shocked that people would allow partisan politics to get in the way of protecting a wife and a mother from somebody who is an alleged abuser and somebody who's threatened to get physical, and maybe he did get physical. This is all in family court, so a lot of it is concealed for obvious reasons. You got kids involved, and it's ugly. But in the name of partisan politics, nobody is speaking out for this woman who's a wife and a mom, and she is silenced. This is wrong. What happened to Me Too? What happened to believing her? What happened to protecting her? What happened to prioritizing her? I'm just asking the question. There's a real common pattern here. Whether you want to talk about kids in a school and a perpetrator who's threatening them in the name of partisan politics stuff, 12-year-old bashed in the head, hospitalized, head shaved, staples. There's a real common theme here. At no time should any of us think that any of this is okay. And yet over and over, we see the safety of individuals, and some of them very vulnerable, in environments that are supposed to be safe. Well, you know what? They're just out there, the sacrificial lamb, in the name of partisan politics. It's not right in any case, whether it's Republican, Democrats, whatever. It shouldn't be allowed. What happened to hate has no home here? What happens, whatever happened to hashtag Me Too, believing her? We don't hear that in the headlines. Trust me, if Kevin Boyle, who's been on the lam, if he were a Republican, oh my goodness, they would be saying all of the above, but they don't in the media or anywhere else. But here's what your illustrious DA, who believes in law and order. He's the guy who would rather put cops behind bars for making a quick in the moment, in the heat of the moment, perhaps bad decision on the job. He loves going after cops, but an alleged wife beater, not so much. So here's what he did. Listen to this ridiculous piece of a news conference. This is your DA, Philadelphia. Here's Krasner.
This actual protection from abuse order was no longer in effect on the relevant dates when Mr. Boyle is alleged to have violated that order. Now, I will say, separate and apart from that, this does not mean, one way or another, that Mr. Boyle committed no crime. That is a matter to be determined later.
Okay. So it doesn't say, I, as a district attorney, I want to make sure, and I want you to know women and children and men and boys, anybody who is in a domestic abuse type situation, these PFAs, as they're called, these protection orders, they're there to, we're here for you. And we're going to make sure that nobody comes back, your abuser doesn't come back and threaten you, abuse you, etc. He didn't say that. Do you have the part where he does this math, this bizarre? So basically, after a week of this individual who's on the ballot today, he's being primaried by a fellow Democrat, and that's Sean Doherty, who, yes, is the nephew of the famous Doherty, who's Johnny Doc, a huge labor leader here in Philadelphia, whose federal trial is continuing today, third trial, and so on and so forth. But and I've interviewed the candidates, the Republicans in this very important district, 172nd district. I've interviewed the two Republicans who want the job. They have both said that they, in fact, will endorse the other. They want you to vote R in the 172nd district in Philadelphia, and by the way, a little bit of that Montgomery County. But what they're saying is we need to flip this seat. And that's what Democrats are terrified of because of Boyle, because he never turned himself in. He never resigned. He's being primaried by somebody. But the Democrats fear that this is going to be a House seat that's flipped, and there's a narrow margin in the House here in Pennsylvania. That's what they're really worried about. And so at the end of the day, they're going to throw under the bus any woman who is an abuse, says, hey, I'm an abused woman. I'm scared. My kids are scared. That doesn't matter. That's what's going on here. Nobody's calling it out. I'm calling it out. It's not okay. And what Krasner did yesterday is a disgrace. It is a shame on you for doing this, for saying, well, we have this window and there's a lull in between, the time that an alleged victim of domestic abuse, refiled her protection order. And by the way, most cops will tell you this is a real common thing where a woman is so intimidated or by her abuser that she then says, oh no, I want to withdraw this. And many states have laws that say, no, you know what, we're going to take over. We think there's something going on here. We want to protect you. Where's Krasner? He's supposed to protect the abused, or the alleged abused, as I'm supposed to say. This should make your blood boil. This is sickening. But this is the Democrat Party. What cowards. Shame on all of you. Do you have the thing where he's doing the weird, bizarro math? All right. He basically says, well, we looked at this and 2 + 2 is 4, but yeah, guess what? We figured out 2 + 2 is 4, but then we have to subtract 1, and we had to, it's bizarre. You know why he does that and looks like a fool? Because this is a disgrace, and he knows it is. He knows in his heart, because he's a husband and he's a dad, and in his heart, he knows this is wrong. Shame on you, and you knew it was a sin, as I say. All right, let me just say this really quick. Man, I'm fired up. We have some moms. There's a big protest going on. We have some moms coming up, and have a lot breaking and developing about the situation in Montgomery County. Another disgrace, as they're not telling the truth. They have yet to come out and be forthright and transparent as to what really happened in that school. Who knew what? They're trying to lie in between the parents for a little girl, 12 years old, and this big boy coming after her. And more on that one. Oh, my goodness. 855-839-1210. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, okay? There's so much happening. Please get out and vote. I know that it's not an exciting primary. I realize that. It's not exciting. It's not thrilling. We have a later primary. But it's important that you get out the vote and that you and the polls are open till 8 o'clock tonight, I believe. So they're open all day, all night. If you didn't vote by mail, please get out there and please do the right thing and show that in this upcoming election this fall, the GOP, Republicans, independents, maybe you're a Democrat who says, I'm fed up. I'm fed up with my own party because they've gone too far left. They've left me. Get out and vote today, would you? I'm Dawn Stensland, 855-839-1210. Are you fired up? Are you ready for November? Are you ready for DJT? He's coming to Wildwood, New Jersey. We'll talk about all of it. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Water quality continues to be in topic. Ensure your family is drinking clean, pure water with the Kinetico water system from Martin Water Conditioning. The Kinetico system improves all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap? Crystal clear, all natural, delicious water. Put the Martin Water Conditioning family's passion for water to work for you. Do what I did. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Visit martinwater.com. martinwater.com. Be sure to tell them Dom sent you.
Headquartered here, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT takes you inside the businesses powering Philly.
Crash Proof Retirement is empowering the investing landscape, becoming the first firm in history to record and store all financial meetings. This unprecedented initiative validates the guarantees Crash Proof Retirement has delivered to the Philadelphia region for over 15 years. All promises made in recorded financial meetings become legally binding between Crash Proof Retirement and the investing consumer, such as no market risk, no fees, and the potential for double-digit interest returns. This unrivaled documentation silences all those who doubt Crash Proof Retirement's proven commitment to truth and transparency. Learn how recording financial meetings will empower you to make the best decision for your retirement future at crashproofretirement.com.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, highlighting the businesses, big and small, headquartered here.
All right, football fans, the NFL Draft is almost here, and the free Odyssey app brings you the latest coverage from the biggest sports radio stations across the country. Which players will help your team the most? Who will make a draft day trade? Will they be ready for week 1? The local conversations about the team you love. All on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Download it today.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, "Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this, everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you. 1 in 5 rely on the Catholic Charities Appeal for help. The fact is, nearly 1 million times per year, our programs provide assistance to people in need. We can't do this vital work without you. Your gift matters. Go to CatholicCharitiesAppeal.org to donate today.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Do you want more control over your business spending? Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management platform designed to save you time and money. Ramp offers unlimited corporate cards with spend controls you can customize to stop wasteful spending before it happens. Ramp makes expense reports a breeze by automatically collecting receipts and matching them to the right transaction. You'll close your books in hours instead of days. Ramp allows you to see all your company spend in one place, so you can make quick, informed decisions about your business finances. Plus, Ramp will share insights based on your spending to help you cut costs. Over 15,000 businesses have added up to 5% to their bottom line with Ramp. You can be one of them. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now, get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/250. Ramp.com/250. RAMP.com/250.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. The Family and Company Jewelers Viraggio Bridal Show is back for 3 days only, April 25th, 26th, and 27th. View brand new inventory and styles not yet available to the public. Save hundreds, possibly thousands, on the ring of her dreams. Head to Family and Company Jewelers, Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey, April 25th, 26th, and 27th for the Viraggio Bridal Show. Book your appointment today at FamilyJewelers.com. That's FamilyJewelers.com.
Join the Delaware County Link to Aging and Disability Resources for a wills and end-of-life planning information session featuring guest elder law estate planning and real estate specialist Dana Breslin of Breslin, Murphy & Roberts and other legal professionals to present and assist with the first steps of creating wills and estate planning and for Q&A sessions. The event will take place at Redwood Community Center on April 29th from 1:30 p.m. till 3 p.m. Call 610-499-1978 to register today.
It's no secret many Americans are facing economic hardship. And if you have unpaid taxes to the IRS hanging over your head, high increasing interest rates and inflation are driving what many owe to insurmountable levels. At Community Tax, we specialize in resolving your tax problems with the best possible solutions. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, relief programs are now being made available for delinquent taxpayers that can reduce what you owe and give you a fresh start. Our relief services are top-rated by the Better Business Bureau and Consumer Affairs, reducing over $1 billion in tax debt for people just like you. If you have liens, levies, wage garnishments, or are under audit, we can help. And whether you owe $10,000 or hundreds of thousands, you may qualify for significant savings. Call Community Tax for your free consultation at 800-218-5085. 800-218-5085. That's 800-218-5085.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Morning. Oh, hey neighbor. Sorry for the banging. We're remodeling our kitchen. And sorry for the dust. New patio and landscaping going in.
Wow. Are you growing money in your backyard?
No. We get a home equity loan from First Harvest Credit Union with an affordable payment. They offer flexible terms, great rates, and less fees. You can say First Harvest is helping us grow our house.
First Harvest Credit Union. A better place to grow. Visit firstharvestcu.com or your nearest branch for more info. Membership restrictions apply. Equal housing lender insured by NCUA.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in an accident and would like to know the value of your case, it's easy. Go to forthepeople.com and go to verdicts and settlements to see cases just like yours. You may see numbers that are much higher than what your lawyer's telling you. You see, all lawyers are not the same. Some may only handle a few injury cases a year. This is all we do. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Rich Zioli.
Well, Miss Mr. President, you got a lot of support in Pennsylvania, tremendous support. I've never seen it this big before, honestly. And I know the primary, I know you wish you could be with us, but I just want you to know that the people of Pennsylvania are with you. This is unconscionable what they're doing to you, but we're with you.
You've been so great, and I appreciate it. And get everybody out to vote. They got to get out to vote. We just want to send a signal because I really believe that November 5th, that's Election Day, it will be the most important period, most important day in the history of our country.
Rich Zioli, weekday afternoons, 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
So there is a rally in Montgomery County at a school where we have parents very involved in the district. I'm also talking to a reporter in particular who's there. It's an important story because it's not being reported with full transparency. And for many reasons, but this is, when I talk about bias by omission, this is exactly the kind of story that I'm talking about. Yes, it's getting some coverage, that's good, but not with full transparency. And that's because of the nature of what's happening. That in fact, this rally this morning outside, Pembroke Middle School and the administrative buildings that has been going on, these parents are saying, we deserve full transparency. This after a 12-year-old little girl is brutally beaten. And we've heard now from both parents saying we were, the mom especially, I'm calling the school. They assured me that my daughter was safe. Other girls who were on the so-called hit list. And I'm thankful that this is such an involved school district as far as parents being involved. But what about those school board members who basically blew off the meeting last Thursday? That's atrocious to me. After you have a 12-year-old rushed via ambulance. And then I don't know if you've seen some of the social media with regard to what's happening and the way that people are saying, well, a trans kid is they're so much more likely to be bullied. I can't even believe anybody would even put that in writing on a social media comment. And that's what we see, because this is a 13-year-old boy, apparently, reportedly identifying as a girl with all kinds of mental issues going on, putting out a hit list, threatening younger girls, smaller, and real girls, and it seems like nobody did anything really to protect these girls from an attack. One of them brutally attacked. She could have been killed. Oh my God. I can't even imagine that phone call and the phone calls that went out. Let me talk to some of them, and thank you for your calls. And I've been very active on some of your social media pages, and we're keeping updated, updating one another. So thank you Friday morning for calling in, for giving us the information that we couldn't get anywhere else. Thank you for that. And then over the weekend, but we have one of the moms, Nicole, who's calling in. Nicole, I'm so sorry, first of all, that for you and the fellow parents there that you have to deal with this. I'm so sorry. And I know how upsetting it is. And we just thank you for calling in and giving us the information.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this time and having an interest in what's going on here.
Of course. So give me the update. What's going on this morning?
Yeah, so let me start off with the conversation in saying that I cannot comment on anything regarding child sexual orientation. But so I can comment. So myself and another mom, we have put together this protest this morning. It started at 9 o'clock. We're in front of the educational building on North Penn where the administration superintendent sits. We know he's inside of the building right now because he called me yesterday and told me so. We're standing outside for transparency about the situation, for, the safety of our children. We're angry. Dr. Bauer, the superintendent, called me on Friday and let me know some action items that he's taking to make this right or to get back the respect of the community. One of those was to hire a third-party firm that's non-biased to do the investigation, to read their own damn emails to find out what went wrong.
Yeah.
Which is a joke. So I have questions. He's giving me an hour of his time today, 12 o'clock.
Good.
I have questions. Who's paying for this? Is it the taxpayers?
Of course.
Is this firm going to be favorable towards the district? Or are we going to find out the details? Are you going to hide behind lawyers? Like, if there's action taken on staff members because they found out who did what wrong, are we going to know? Are they going to be shifted around to other schools? We're a huge district. So just, some of those.
Yeah, and just for the record, I've avoided talking about the issue of anybody's gender identity on purpose. On Friday, I mentioned that was reported, but that's not the issue here at all.
No, not at all.
So I mentioned it briefly Friday. I mentioned it once, this morning just now. Have been reporting on this since 6 a.m., last week. What was it, Thursday, Friday?
Yeah.
So Friday morning, because it's not the issue. The issue really is about the majority of kids being safe, about parents calling in saying, hey, my daughter is saying that there's some kid at the school who is threatening my child and other kids. This is very concerning. And then the attack, as promised, by all accounts, correct me if I'm wrong, the attack was, at least one of the attacks was carried out.
Yeah. Yep, it was carried out. They were warned. The child, we're a great school district. We have lots of resources. We, Safe to Speak Up. That's an anonymous app or phone numbers the kids can use to report anything that's going to go on that's wrong. They go to trusted adults, which are their teachers and guidance counselors. So the child did this. She went to her guidance counselor. She trusted her. She told her this was going to happen. She wrote it down for her. And they said that you were okay, and it still happened. And now they're not saying any answers. That board meeting was a complete joke. They stayed silent because they didn't know what to say, because they know they're in the wrong.
And so, first and foremost, and I just want to go through this. We have the victim, the 12-year-old victim, who's recovering with, after being hospitalized and her head split open, staples in her head. We don't know the long term. Have you heard any update, first of all, about this 12-year-old victim who I believe is identified as Emily, even if I'm not going to identify any of the kids because they're kids, but is she okay? And by the way, usually if something happens, even in my kids' grades, if a kid broke their leg or was injured in a football game, sometimes the kids would have something like bring a cake or bring cupcakes is there anything at the school to bring well wishes of healing for this little girl who was, injured at school and beaten?
Yeah. So I personally don't know the victim. I'll say that. There was a friend here at the protest today that is friends with her. She said she's doing okay. She's still, recovering at home, but thank God she was able to go home. So I'll say that. In terms of the students doing things for themselves to just bring some calm and peace and healing to them, my son shared that yesterday students and teachers wore red, and that was to support the victim. They also had put little note stickers and stuck them all around the school, or maybe on the windows and stuff, of just like uplifting messages so that when they're walking through the hallway, they can read them and maybe it gives them a little bit of peace. I did email Todd or Dr. Bauer this past weekend, and I said, hey, you got to do something with this lunchroom because it's like PTSD for these kids.
Yeah.
You can't keep everything the same. I said, I don't want to hear about money. You don't have to do anything expensive. Maybe some uplifting posters, maybe a different change in paint color. Yeah. We can get volunteers, some soft music, and he pushed me off to the principal of the school, but I'm not going to let up because something has to be done. Some of these kids can't even enter the lunchroom. They're eating their lunch outside in the hall.
Yeah. And as far as the 13-year-old who's accused of making a list and accused of these threats, and then accused and was in court yesterday. It's a juvenile court, charged with aggravated assault as a juvenile. But then there was, in fact, a report from the sheriff's deputies, who said that that individual allegedly had, assaulted the sheriff's deputy with a large water jug during the hearing on this attack. And so there's no question that this was a disturbed individual who now has been extracted from the school environment. There were reports, and I had one of the moms who called Friday had said that she's familiar with this student, the suspect, who's now in the juvenile custody. And she confirmed, she said this individual was bullying her daughter, was at a different middle school, was transferred. And so is there an effort now at this point, Nicole, to say, hey, will the district approach dealing with, mental health issues or kids who have problematic behaviors and they have an aide assigned to them? Is there an effort to say, let's view this differently and not just transfer a problem kid from school to school, where you now have unknowing teachers, unknowing kids? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I definitely understand what you're saying. I think, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer in educational law or anything like that. I'm just a parent that has a kid in the district. But I think this might be maybe a bigger issue with Pennsylvania law, and I'm pretty sure the child had an IEP, so they're protected by different laws.
Yes.
So yeah, but for the mental health piece, definitely we can have some more resources out there, because God knows that everybody out in America, mental health is such a big issue right now, and we have to do more for everybody.
Yes. And Nicole, a piece of this is that we have, I would say, probably the most heightened partisan political situation I've ever seen in my life. And my history is news anchor, television news anchor, reporter, journalist for, most of my career. I've never seen anything like this. And so the backdrop to this is relevant, the way that this current student, quote unquote, identifies. That, in other words, is there a piece of this where partisan politics has gotten in the way of just everybody being able to deal with a situation like this?
Yeah, I don't know. There has been a lot of opinion on the different North Penn mom pages that I belong to, how I spread the word about the protest. But to be honest with you, I've just shut it down or even ignored it, because it's not part of the problem at all. The problem is the district, the way it was handled, and what can we do for these kids now? That's what I'm focused on. I really don't care about any political baloney. That can be dealt with at another time.
Right. Right, but do we know, for example, why? Because there are there are laws that say, for example, if you're a teacher, I know even as a mom, I had to go through my clearances to be a volunteer in my own kids' schools. Yep. And that then I was trained on the fact that it was the law. If a kid came to me while I was a volunteer at my kid's school and another kid came up and told me that they were being threatened by anybody, I'm legally bound by Pennsylvania state law, by the Commonwealth, that I must report that. So do you have, is that a piece of what you're pushing for? In other words, why wasn't this carried out where these kids, where did this breakdown happen, in other words, in the reporting of this?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the teachers are mandated reporters. And so just like you said, if they come up to you and say something, you have to report it by law. So, again, I don't know where the breakdown happened. I don't know if the guidance counselor didn't say something to somebody, or if she went to the principal and he just brushed it off. I don't know, but that's why we're asking for transparency of the investigation findings for the parents.
Now, some parents are just calling for either the superintendent or the principal or certain board members who didn't go to last Thursday's meeting or those who've been silent. There are some calls for individuals to resign.
Yes.
Take me through that situation, if you would.
Yeah, so I would want them to resign. I would want, first of all, we could start at the top. Dr. Todd Bauer, I would like him to resign. You are the leader, in whatever industry you're in, you're the top dog. So when something goes horrifically wrong, it's going to fall on you, whether you knew about it or not. And, you have to fix that break of what happened so that the next time for the next person that they do find out and the right actions are taken. I am going to assume that this child had an IEP, which means she falls under special needs. Dr. Megan McGee, she's head of special needs, special education here at North Penn. So when the child was transferred to Pembroke, I'm pretty sure signatures had to happen. I would have been probably her and Todd Bauer. When I meet with Dr. Bauer at 12 o'clock today, that's one of my questions. Who signs off on transfers? So going down the line, Dr. Nicholas Taylor, he's the principal of Pembroke. If he didn't know, that's fine. If they can prove that, if he did know, he needs to go. We need to be able to send our kids and know they're safe. The guidance counselor that was told was Miss Colleen Fatari.
Yes.
She definitely needs to go.
Yeah, and we heard the brave young lady who in fact spoke out, and she's making international news when she actually mentions the counselor's name.
Yeah,
and
at the
says,
board meeting, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and she says, "I told you," and she has this soft little voice.
Yes.
Nicole, I think for so many of us, we watch this as a
Watch
parent.
the board meeting.
What's that?
I'm sorry, somebody's talking to me.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm
no,
so
that's
sorry.
okay. No, I know you're busy today. It's a busy day for you.
Yeah.
But I think for most of us, we watch this. It's so frustrating. For me, I've had arguments even with coworkers. They've teased me because once my kids had a cell phone in, I guess it was like 8th grade, I wanted them to have a cell phone at school because of different, for different issues. For me, I told my kids, if something happens, call 911.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And so my son is a student there. He's in 9th grade. And to be honest with you, so since last Thursday, I've been physically sick just in worry. And, kids do dumb things and get in trouble sometimes. And so one of the repercussions for my son is getting his phone taken away. So I worry, okay, if I take his phone away on a school day and I send him to school, what if something happens and he's not able to contact me? It's like a sick thinking. It messes with you.
Yes. And what do you make of this third-party investigator being brought in to North Penn School District when we already have the police, who I think it seems like they're doing a very good job under Chief Duffy there? I mean, Upper Gwinnett Police. What do you make of this third-party investigation?
Yeah, I think that the third-party investigation was because of the heat that he's getting from the parents, from the district. I don't know. He personally told me that. So when at the board meeting, if you watch it, on the left-hand side, there's a person. I forget his last name, but his first name is Kyle. He's general counsel, and he was advising him and reiterating rules and procedures and whatnot. Dr. Bauer told me that he personally told Kyle, you can't do this because it's just going to look like, almost like a conflict of interest. I want an outside one so it looks fair.
Yes.
So, but again, I have no idea who he's picking. Does he have any connections to these people? How do we know it's fair?
Right. Exactly. And then I had seen that North Penn's coordinator of emergency management and Safe Schools, who's Brandon Roan, said that he would provide some kind of community update, but that's not until the Safe Schools Committee meeting, which is next Monday, April 29th.
Yeah. So I think Brandon is newly hired. I've never met him before, so I'm not sure. the state meeting next Monday, everybody will be at, and it will be
Yes.
very interesting.
Yes, indeed. Well, what are you telling what are parents, what are you telling your son, your kids, and what are they, what do you say to your child after a violent attack like this happened?
So I've talked to my son, and I've just said, what happened to that girl was not fair. You know that. Continue to speak up if you hear that something's wrong. You can text me, you could tell me, and I can go to them if you don't feel comfortable talking to the adults. Honestly, I just pray every day because it's all I can do. I just, I'm going to get upset. I'm so sorry, but before he goes to school every day, I just pray. I just pray that he's safe and that nothing ever happens to him. And and that's really it. So my son is a very calm child, and he tells me, "Mom, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Like it's okay. Thankfully, he didn't see it. He saw a video, but he didn't see it in person. But I just, I know that this will affect him down the road if it's not hitting him right now."
Yes, absolutely. Nicole, thank you for your time. I'm praying for you too, for all the parents. I have so many family members and friends in your district with kids in your school, and I'm so sorry this is happening, but it's so important that you are aware, that you're keeping up on this, and that you don't let them put this under the carpet, because we need to know the truth about it, and certainly you deserve the truth.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I am going to do everything in my power, everything in my rights to keep this going and to find out whatever I can.
Yeah.
So if anybody is from the school district administration that is listening right now or listen to this later, I'm not going away.
Mama Bear. Nicole, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Aw, thank you, Nicole. So she'll be meeting with various school officials who, to their credit, I'm glad that the superintendent and others have said they would meet with parents. So hopefully they get some answers. And as well, I hope that the police, as they continue this investigation, will get some answers there. There's a whole lot to this if you want to react, 855-839-1210. But I will say this, that it's unfortunate. I think that the pattern we see is that when even there's a perception that there's a group and it's politicized, for example, the issue of, a transgender child, that now, unfortunately, has been politicized. And I have to wonder if that's why, and I don't have the answer to this, but my feeling is that when in local schools, let's just take it this way, we have a teenage kid, a girl or a boy, and they're wearing, I don't know, a "Don't Tread on Me" t-shirt or a MAGA hat. It seems to me that if somebody complains, boom, immediately the principal gets involved, a school counselor gets involved, and they say, hey, we have a uniform policy. You're not allowed to wear anything like this, right?
We had listeners talk to us about their son or daughter wore a "Let's Go Brandon" shirt, and they
Let's
got
Go Brandon.
suspended or whatever. Yeah.
In Pennsylvania, we had a "Don't Tread on Me." Remember that? The t-shirt, the girl who was a straight A student, they were threatening to kick her out of school. They did not have a uniform policy. And other kids who are wearing a MAGA hat. It's okay in those instances to take that, extract the kid out of the class, chastise them. And some of them, quite frankly, there was a uniform policy. Okay. And you're not allowed to, you have to wear plain tan or gray, whatever. But in some of them, there was not a uniform policy. My point is, it just feels like there is this fear or just a lack of concern when something seems to be on the other side of the aisle, and when maybe an issue is protecting somebody who is viewed as partisan. My point to you is this, that if that it bears out to be true, I want you to think about this. That 13-year-old who clearly, from my sources, has said this individual has, since grade school, has had major problems, has had an aide assigned to them, and so on and so forth. They did that kid no favors by just allowing them to remain in the classroom and then allegedly, I have to say allegedly, carry out a brutal attack that, quite frankly, could have been deadly. And I'm not being overly dramatic. You take a 12-year-old kid, a petite girl, you slam her over the head multiple times with a heavy, steel object. We don't know. I mean, she's on concussion protocol, but there could be long-term effects, right? And we know about that, and certainly emotional effects. So this could have been worse. I hate to say the cliche. Thank God she's at home recovering, but no doubt she'll have to have different scans and brain scans for years to come in her life. My mom died of, I'm aware of it, my mom died of ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, and they blamed it on the fact that she'd had some head injuries. She was very active, athletic, okay? And it didn't show up until she was in her late 50s, early 60s. So major head injuries and major concussions, and that's why the sports debate goes on. There are ramifications to it. And so this is serious. This is something that could plague this young 12-year-old for the rest of her life. And as well, the emotional scars on these kids who witnessed this thing. It never should have happened. It should have been prevented. And anybody who felt like they were protecting a child because that child is in a quote-unquote certain community and partisan politics is at play, they did the opposite of protecting that child. You see what I'm saying? 855-839-1210. I know you want to sound off. I have to take a quick break. We'll talk on the other side.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Taylor Swift is not just a tortured poet.
UC Berkeley.
How to build an empire.
One of our sister stations went all Taylor. They play the entire album on Friday.
What do you think about doing that here on this station?
No.
All Taylor all the time?
No.
Surprised none of those students at UC Berkeley are wearing a mask. That's very encouraging. Maybe they're coming around. Artistry and entrepreneurship, Taylor style.
Yep.
You know, I might have to have that conversation with my girls. Daddy is going to pay for college, but if you take a Taylor Swift elective, that's coming out of your pocket.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
I was afraid to cut the cord, but once I did, I couldn't believe it took so long to do it. Paying too much for my cable bill had become a bad habit. I either wasn't getting what I wanted or never knew where to find any of my favorite shows until it was too late. Plus, the prices just kept going up. Thankfully, I discovered a new way to watch called Philo. For just $25 a month, I can catch all my favorite shows on networks like BET, MTV, and TLC. It even has Nickelodeon for my kids. I can watch anytime I want, anywhere I want. Plus, Philo lets me have up to 3 streams at once, so everyone can watch what they want at the same time. Throw in the unlimited DVR that saves all my favorites for up to a year, and this really is the best deal in TV. I just wish I hadn't waited so long. Sound too good to be true? Well, try it out for yourself, and you'll see why people who love TV love Philo. Go to philo.tv, that's philo.tv, and start your 7-day free trial now.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
My dad, Len, always says, the minute you get in a car, everyone, front and back, should buckle up.
And my son Jordan always says, the minute you get in a car accident, first seek medical attention and then call us. This is Len Lundy.
And I'm Jordan Lundy of Lundy Law. My dad and I hope you never meet us because of an accident. But if you do, we're here for you.
Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyer.
Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit LundyLaw.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential.
But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Legacy Box is offering a 60% discount. Order yours today and take advantage of our best Mother's Day sale ever. Visit legacybox.com/value and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value for 60% off. legacybox.com/value.
In your journey back to work, we understand the barriers you may face. We have a solution to bridge that gap. No matter your background, PA CareerLink staff are here to provide personalized assistance and help you thrive. Take the first step towards a new chapter in your career journey with PA CareerLink. Visit pacareerlink.pa.gov or your local PA CareerLink office today.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Am I going to be okay? It's the most important question you should ask yourself when approaching retirement. A financial advisor will probably answer that question by looking at just one thing: how much you've saved. At Spectrum Wealth Partners, we believe that's only half the story. The stock market will continue to go up and down, but at Spectrum Wealth, we can help you build guaranteed lifetime income that's not affected by any of it. Let's sit down together and help you answer the question, am I going to be okay? Call 856-322-8686 or online at spectrumwp.com. And tune into the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen Saturdays at 3 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Advisory services offered through Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, and Spectrum Wealth Partners are not affiliated companies.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
It's primary day in Pennsylvania. The polls are open until 8 p.m. tonight. We're hearing more testimony from the first witness of Donald Trump's hush money trial in New York. And Columbia University is offering students hybrid learning the rest of the semester because of the pro-Palestinian protests happening around campus.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
Hey, it's Nick Cale. Don't forget to join me on the first Wednesday of the month for the 1210 WPHT Veteran Spotlight, a program where we shine a spotlight on one outstanding local veteran in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation, celebrating their remarkable commitment to community service and their exceptional service in the military. On Wednesday, May 1st, we honor Marine Corps Sergeant Jerry L. Golden III and his exemplary contribution to the veteran community. Presented by Window Nation. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Trump trial day 2. History in the making. We've never seen anything like this. And we know that the judge is weighing these allegations by Alvin Bragg, the DA's team, the allegation that Trump should, go to jail because he violated a judge's gag order from talking about the case or the judge or anybody else. So we're awaiting that. And then on the docket today in the trial for Trump, on the docket today is David Pecker, former National Enquirer publisher who prosecutors say worked with Trump and Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, on a so-called catch and kill strategy to buy up and then spike negative or, to try to suppress any negative stories during the campaign. So he testified briefly yesterday. He'll be back on the stand today in that Manhattan trial. By the way, I can tell you that all the time, people in campaigns will hire different people or talk to different friends to try to thwart negative stories. I mean, remember the whole famous, the bimbo factor. Remember the Clinton team, let us not forget, in the Paula Jones scandal case, where they tried to, and that was George Stephanopoulos. Nobody talks about this, but that was the case in which George Stephanopoulos and others, Carville, were involved in basically painting women as a bunch of trailer park bimbos, and I'm quoting here from the records, the allegations, that that's what they were doing to try to minimize these women and say, oh, they're just making these claims against the then Arkansas governor. So there's nothing, to my knowledge, nobody's ever been charged with a crime. It's not a crime to do such a thing, but in any event, I digress. All right. Back to one of the top stories, and that is, what are the ramifications from a juvenile court yesterday after a 13-year-old in a juvenile court proceeding allegedly assaulted at least one sheriff's deputy, is now in custody, charged with aggravated assault, and that involves a 12-year-old being assaulted in school last week, but will the 13-year-old accused of this latest assault face now further charges? That's one of the questions. There are many fast-moving developments in this story as we learn more, and not learning more from the school officials who've now apparently lawyered up and hired a third party to investigate. We don't hear much either from Upper Gwinnett police. They've reported things through their police reports, but we don't hear much from them. They've been, I think, pretty straightforward in their investigation. So taking your calls, 855-839-1210, the number to call. Let's get to Dan, who is in Lansdale, Montgomery County. Good morning, Dan.
Yeah, hi, Dawn. This is a Papa Bear in that Lansdale area. My daughter, I keep in touch with the Moms for Liberty, but my daughter was a student at Pembroke. And, this is a trend. I mean, this isn't something just a one-off, and like you were reaching out about, it's deeper than just this one incident.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter's a sophomore now, and she's talking with other students that she's still friends with, and it resonates throughout the community. And this board, and they can't even look people in the eyes. It's been the same thing. And there's a North Penn United that came together, tried to get them out. And unfortunately, the area is so one way politically that we couldn't get this board to be removed. And this is the effect of it. It's gone on way too long. My daughter had some kids that were acting out. If you look at the Parkland shooting, there's a book called Why Meadow Died. It's the same trend, and then everybody's shocked when something happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. It's like a playbook. They cover up for whatever reason, political reasons. We don't want to offend this and that, and then why did this happen? And blame the gun or whatever. It's got to be. There's got to be some change. I don't want anything more from the board other than resignations. They've done enough or looked away enough or whatever they're doing. I see them in the community, just very shady, it's just dishonesty. And that's the problem. We're not getting to the core of the issue. There's no accountability.
And so I guess what I'm trying to get, what I'm trying to understand here, Dan, is there a certain culture that's going on, or why blame the board for, an assault that happened in school? Some people would say, well, this is a horrible thing. This was somebody with a mental health issue that just erupted. So you see something, you see a pattern of behavior or what?
100%. I mean, in the Parkland shootings, that Parkland shooter was being frisked in the morning unbeknownst to parents. He was coming into school. They knew he was a problem. They were checking his bag before he came into school. If you read the book, I forget the father, the poor father that lost his daughter in it, but and none of the parents knew it. And in the book, he asked, you should be checking in with your district and what's going on. Are there any trouble students and what's going on? They were literally checking his bag and frisking him each morning, and none of the parents knew it.
Unbelievable.
And I'm sure that's going on unbeknownst to many school districts, like so I'm not saying it happened here necessarily, but there was definitely signs and red flags. It's and then everybody's shocked. I can't believe this. No. They were getting covered. And there's good teachers and great, and I know the counselor. She's great. She helped my daughter with things when she was there. I feel like they're tied too, like kind of like the Philadelphia police are. They can't do anything because of the upper levels of power and the school district or whatever it is, unions. I don't know, but they're tied too.
So what's the advice here? I mean, my feeling, I have always told my kids once they had, their smartphones, which was, I think, like 7th, 8th grade, I always, and they went to a little private school where we never had any problems, but I always told them, call 911. If somebody threatens you or there's an imminent danger, no matter where you are, you call 911. That's one of the reasons you have that phone. And so is that something that you as a parent and parents across the region, I guess, that's one thing I'm hearing. People are saying, just call 911.
No, absolutely. With anything, you call me right away. I mean, I live 10 minutes from Pembroke. Whatever it is, but that's no doubt. There's no doubt. I don't care what another adult tells you. If there's something major going down, I need to know, and that's the bottom line. There's no waiting 30 minutes or whatever. Don't put your phones down. Nope, no way.
Well, and that's another piece of it. Why were the kids? And I don't know if you have the answer, Dan, but why were these kids forced to stay right there? And then they were for about a half an hour, 28 minutes. There's blood everywhere. They're cleaning up the blood.
Yes.
What's up with that?
Yeah, that's Ooh, my heart went out to that young lady. She was so courageous in telling that, and the fact that she had to sit there. Now you got to get them out. I mean, even back. I mean, I'm 52 years old. If somebody threw up, sometimes they would escort us out of the room or whatever. Like it would be a whole thing. But
it's a great point.
I don't know. I maybe again, it was probably a shock factor. It's typically very peaceful in the suburbs here, but I think a lot of people just froze and didn't know what to. I spoke with another friend of mine, and another thing might be an option is. I think they should mix maybe the students, have some older students instead of just all 7th graders. If there was a 9th grader in there, maybe a big, wrestler or football guy, maybe somebody would have stepped up. The 7th graders are so young. They can't move, I don't know. But maybe have intermixed where you have some older students in there, not just one grade. Just a thought, but
some mentors. That's not a bad idea. Well, Dan, thank you so much. And to my Papa Bear calling in. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate
you. You got it. Thank you so much, Dawn. Great. Thanks for putting this out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm on it. And I'm, I am like a dog on a bone with something like this. It's important that we keep our kids' security as a top priority. It's not acceptable. And there's a weird element to this, that they think that they can release a statement saying, oh, it's an altercation, and not mention certain things. The media doesn't ask the questions. That's not okay. It has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with the gender of the kid. But it just feels, my spidey senses tell me that there is a political side to this. And as well, I hate to say this because I hate to be so cynical, but I do feel that ahead of the primary election, we have a primary election today. And we have a November election upcoming. I really believe in my heart that a lot of people just want to put anything like this under the carpet in this political year because it's such an important year. And that's not right either. It's, just think about the kids. Do your job. Keep the kids safe. Have high quality policies. All you have to do when there's a student, I don't care if they have issues and they have an aide they're working with, fine. But rather than look at the rights of that one individual or your fear over what people might think over one individual, why not protect the greater, larger student body that's at hand? Do we have our next guest, Anthony? No, not yet. All right. I know we have a next guest upcoming, so I want to keep on that. 855-839-1210. I know so many of you definitely want to sound off. But we now have, and thank you. There are so many of you that are sending me some new updates on this. But we do have, there's breaking news right now that in fact, during the first court proceeding in this case yesterday, that judge in the case that I talked about, where the 13-year-old allegedly had assaulted a sheriff's deputy. But did you know that the judge took steps to keep the identity of the alleged attacker anonymous, put a protective order issuing that to shield the school, the attacker in the case, not the victim, but the attacker. And so we know that was the first proceeding. I will tell you this in all honesty, even if I already have the kid's name, I'm not going to release it. We just don't do that. It's following a protocol in the media and I also have the name of the victim. I'm not going to release these names. And even you notice some of the parents, I'm just mentioning a first name and they don't have to you never have to give your real name. But when it comes to juveniles, no matter what, I'm not releasing the name. None of the media will. Do we have the information? We do. We're just not going to release it. The same for example, sex assault victims in court proceedings. We just don't release certain names. It's a protocol. It's longstanding. And so the judge did not have to go through those steps, but the judge did. So you can read into that what you will. But that was another breaking story. So let me take your calls on that one. Other news of the day. So I do want to move on. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Are you still holding on to that winter weight? Time to shed that fat and get ready for the warmer weather of spring with NJ Diet. For over a decade, they've helped thousands of people lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. That's nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. NJ Diet uses your hair and saliva along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements to get you to shed that fat quickly. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. You are fully supervised the entire time to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. And you even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations in King of Prussia, Cherry Hill, and Newark, Delaware, or available from home with live online consultations. Call 855-5NJ-DIET, 855-5NJ-DIET, or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. Get slimmer before this summer with njdiet.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Get some reusable bags for the grocery store and recycle paper, bottles, and cans to make every day Earth Day. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale & Company. The road to the NBA Finals starts now, and new customers on FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, can go on their own playoff run with $150. Listen to this offer. All you have to do is place any $5 bet, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose, to use during the NBA playoffs. You can bet on so many options, from three-pointers being made by your particular player, over-under and points, the first basket score, number of dunks, player rebounds, player assists, player points, any player to score 20 or more points, and so much more. Just go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over, present in PA. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Weather sponsored by the Ardent Theater.
It will be another pleasant day today with plenty of sunshine and warmer with a high 68. Tonight, not as cold, increasing clouds, a shower possible overnight, low 48. And for Wednesday, early morning shower possible, then becoming partly sunny, high 68.
Don't miss Ardent Children's Theater's modern retelling of the classic tale Pinocchio, adapted by Greg Banks. A wooden boy, a nose that grows, a huge whale, and a cricket with a lot of opinions. On stage now. Info at ardenttheater.org.
Spring is in the air, and so are dust, pollen, and dander. Before you turn on your AC system, make sure you schedule a Horizon Services spring tune-up to avoid costly breakdowns and clear away allergens that have been building up since last year. Plus, right now when you schedule a spring AC tune-up, we'll also schedule a free fall heater tune-up. Book today at horizonservices.com/radio. For anything cooling or plumbing, you can trust Horizon to get it done and get it done right the first time.
When meeting with Wall Street behind closed doors, it's impossible to know whether you're receiving objective advice or a deceptive sales pitch. Crash Proof Retirement records all financial meetings, providing a legally binding guarantee that your best interests come first.
Andy Donaldson. I've been with Crash Proof Retirement since 2014. Wall Street definitely lacks any fiduciary responsibility. Stockbrokers don't record their meetings because they don't want to commit to exactly what they say. Behind closed doors, do they really have my best interests at heart? It's quite a nice feeling to know that by recording their meetings, Crash Proof Retirement guarantees a full fiduciary responsibility, which means that you come out on top, and I'm not worried about them trying to nickel and dime me.
Learn why recording financial meetings guarantees peace of mind. Register for one of the Crash Proof events on May 15th at the Washington Crossing Inn. Choose either the 11 a.m. or 5 p.m. event. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Indulge in an extraordinary dining experience at Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse. For intimate dinner parties to corporate events, the chef-driven cuisine, impeccable wines, and exceptional hospitality give you an experience like no other. Call 215-246-0533.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Do you have a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more that you don't need?
Well, don't lapse or surrender your policy. You might be sitting on a gold mine. That's right. You may be able to sell all or part of your life insurance policy to Coventry for cash, or a combination of cash and coverage with no future premiums, even a term policy. Call Coventry Direct at 800-411-8300 or visit coventrydirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-411-8300. For over 25 years, we've helped thousands of people sell their policies. And we can probably help you, too. Call us today at 800-411-8300 or visit coventrydirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-411-8300. Call now.
Hi everyone, Matt here from Emmons Roofing and Siding. There are a lot of companies out there that say they do roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Some good, some not so good. Be careful of those that say buy two, get two free. Does that really make sense? Think about it. At Emmons, we don't offer gimmicks, just quality products installed by our experienced craftsmen. We do offer 12 months, same as cash financing though. That's not a gimmick. That's because we know how tough it is for some people right now to get these projects done. If you need roofing, siding, or windows and doors, call us for a free estimate today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Rich Zioli.
Well, Mr. President, you got a lot of support in Pennsylvania, tremendous support. I've never seen it this big before, honestly. And I know the primary, I know you wish you could be with us, but I just want you to know that the people of Pennsylvania are with you. This is unconscionable what they're doing to you, but we're with you.
You've been so great, and I appreciate it. And get everybody out to vote. They got to get out to vote. We just want to send a signal because I really believe that November 5th, that's Election Day, it will be the most important period, most important day in the history of our country.
Rich Zioli, weekday afternoons 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
We're in for 69 degrees, sunny skies today. What a great time. No time like the present to get back out on the roads. And what about planning that big road trip for the summer? My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles are going to help you find that luxury vehicle you've been eyeing. You know you want it. You've worked for it. You deserve it. Piazza has thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles. They're available right now from brands such as Mercedes-Benz, Land Rover, Jaguar, Maserati, BMW, Porsche, and so much more. Check them out, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. You can always stop by one of their Pennsylvania, Delaware, or New Jersey dealers. There is power in Piazza. They're everywhere. Piazza, Piazza Premium Automobiles. Tell them Dolan sent you.
Woke win. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Elon Musk putting out there that X has had some kind of a problem. X is down. So they've been sharing posts. There's some kind of a glitch. And one of them, can you imagine the stress being Elon today? Tesla futures hanging in the balance. Oh, will he get his pay package? And now X is down. So we don't know what's causing the glitch. Users across the East Coast and worldwide. On the West Coast, I guess the West Coast is worse. So let us know. Anthony and I, we're not having any problems. If you are, let me know. 855-839-1210. Just to wrap up a bow, and I'll take some of your calls because we have some great callers about this, 855-839-1210. But as far as this judge in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, in that first proceeding following what can only be called a violent, physical, brutal attack on that 12-year-old girl from behind, an ambush attack in the cafeteria, we know that a Democrat Montgomery County judge issuing a protective order, not for the victim. I don't know that the victim was mentioned or was the point of concern here, but the Montgomery County judge issuing a protective order to shield the suspect's identity from the public. This is a bit unusual. I will just point out to you because, like I say, in the media, we very rarely, unless an individual is charged as an adult, and even then, sometimes depending on the conversation in any newsroom, you still don't release a juvenile's name. But the judge issuing this and saying, quote, "No party, individual, or entity may publish identifying information, the birth name, chosen name if applicable, family members' names, date of birth, residential address, or any other information that may reasonably lead to the identification of the juvenile and or the juvenile's family." This is how the judge's order reads. This protective order is entered to safeguard the protection of the juvenile, including without limitation the juvenile's emotional, physical, and mental well-being, safety, and privacy. That's the order from Montgomery County Judge Henry S. Hillies III, who's in charge of the case. So the judge ordered down, I'll be honest, nobody's going to challenge it in the media. I could report it. And under freedom of speech, this judge, I don't feel that this judge's order has a bearing on me. I think free speech and the First Amendment would trump this judge's order. And the judge, in my humble opinion, no matter what's going on in that court, the judge certainly knows, because the judge has been in the system a long time. The judge knows we're not going to give the name. We don't give the name. And so what are you doing? This judge is a Democrat, was brought in with 3 other Democrat judges who beat 3 Republican judges fairly recently. I want to say it was within the past few years. The judge was sworn in. Stop grandstanding. None of us are going to report it, Judge. Just do your job. Really, it's totally grand. Nobody was ever going to report the kid's name. You know that. Get off it. Please. Let's take Stephanie in Delaware. Hey, Stephanie.
Good morning, Dawn.
Hey.
I wanted to just add another layer to this that some people might not be aware of. So I am a therapist, and a mental health therapist in private practice. And one of the most concerning things that I've seen in my profession is the movement to affirm the gender of the clients that come in who are considering themselves trans. So in some states, you actually could lose your license if you don't affirm your client's gender. So the woke ideology has just completely infiltrated this profession. And so the concern is, yes, if we can get these kids into the hands of people who can help them, that would be great, except the people that are helping them are actually affirming their pathology and their trauma instead of actually working with them to help them identify, what are you using this for, as it may be a means to dissociate from any particular traumas that you might be experiencing. Instead, it's really the equivalent of having an alcoholic or addict come into your office and say, "Oh, here's a 6-pack. Why don't we have a session while we drink together?" It is incredibly disturbing. I mean, so much so that some of us have, as therapists, have gone sort of underground. I've actually went back on Facebook in order to connect with a conservative group of therapists, and some of the stories are incredibly frightening. So that is a real concern. It's one thing to get these kids in the hands of people who can help them, except the profession that is really the last bastion of hope is captured.
I'm so sorry that you have to first of all, that you have to go underground essentially to do your job and do it effectively. I know you've called in the past, and you always bring a new layer of depth to an issue and compassion. And so I thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah, it's just very concerning. So I would suggest if anybody is looking for a therapist for their child and that might be, dealing with this, check out the Conservative Therapist of America. I can't remember the other one, but there are the groups out there that people can connect with. You absolutely have to vet these therapists because, trust me, they have their own agenda. And some states, as I said, there's actually a case, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to this. Is being asked to be heard by the Supreme Court. A therapist out in Washington did not affirm a gender, and he's lost his license. So, yeah, we're in trouble, folks.
It's ridiculous.
So
upside
prayers
down,
for
man.
everybody involved.
Yes.
You just have to keep turn to Jesus. That's my answer, Dawn.
Amen. Well put. Thank you so much. Thanks, Stephanie. 855-839-1210. Let me take Rita in North Philadelphia. Rita, what do you make of all this?
How you doing, Miss Dawn?
Good. How are you doing?
Okay. I feel sorry for the children. Yeah. But let me say this. The child reported to an aide or somebody in the school what was going on. They did not report it. Yeah. Now, let's examine some of the reasons why. Were they gay themselves? What was the reason why when a child reports? Also, I have an award from John Street's administration, the Family Learning Institute. Okay, I used to be part of that, FLI. Well, anyway, why didn't they report it? He could have killed that girl.
Yeah.
She's lucky to be alive. And here's another thing. When you turn a country into a homosexual nation, and I'll tell you how we got here. Obama. We ain't know nothing about that man. When they told me we're going to run him for president, I said, Miss Dawn, I said, who is it? Obama. I said, who's that? You're going to put somebody in an office high as the presidency. We didn't know nothing about that man. Am I right?
Well, we do now. I thank you for the call. I really do. I appreciate it. I don't think the shame of all of this is, like I say, it should have nothing to do with somebody's gender. If you have somebody who's acting out, who's violent, who's troubled, extract them from the environment, keep the student body safe. It's really simple over here. And so I think that a lot of people were reportedly jumping through a whole lot of hoops because they were concerned about the quote unquote look of everything and then the partisan impact of it. Once again, they've had the opposite effect because they just enabled an apparently, very volatile, violent kid to now carry this out. And by the way, the kid, what does their life look like? So if they had a counselor, let's say like Stephanie, who just called, who was trying to help the kid work through their issues in a genuine way and not use the kid or their gender identity or their mental health issues as a pawn for politics, my God, maybe things would have turned out better for the kid who's now sitting in a juvenile facility and could potentially be charged as an adult and spend the next at least 5 years in custody, right? So you're never doing anybody a service here. So that's my take on that one. Hey, Kevin in Bucks County. Hey, Kevin.
Good morning. Quick question. With regards to that judge's order shielding that perpetrator, that kid, does that extend to civilians too? In other words, the girl that testified in front of the school board, can she not out the person or their family members out him?
Kevin, I think that's exactly where this is going because they were saying the student's nickname or name innocently, because it's a little kid and she's like, oh, my friend so-and-so, and then I saw so-and-so running, so I think that is where the judge is going. This is a warning to say you better not, out this person. And
it seems far-reaching.
It does. And it just doesn't it seem like this judge is more concerned about the alleged assailant rather than, and by the way, if the judge was worried about all the kids, the judge would have then said, look, I'm going to issue a warning. We're dealing with juveniles. All right. So let's just have a ruling that says we're not going to say anybody's names. But again, Kevin, that's why I made the statement that I made. I can promise you that nobody in the media, nobody in the local media stations, whether it's, and the judge wrote the word publish. Nobody, what do you think? The Inquirer was going to put a juvie's name? No, they're not going to do it. Even fairly recently, when there were kids who were charged as adults in a case of murdering a 73-year-old man in Philadelphia, many of the local media never even said those kids' names because they're still 12, 13, 14 years old. That judge knows that because I could give you his resume, but he's been in the court system. He knows the media. This was grandstanding. It was pandering to say, oh, I'm going to protect somebody who identifies, and you're not going to misgender somebody. You're not going to identify their family. It's really a shame, to your point, Kevin. But it's a warning to other parents who might, at a hearing, let's say, or other kids who might even accidentally just let the kid's name slip. To your point. So I appreciate it. It's just, it's ridiculous. And we don't need a judge threatening little kids who've watched a classmate get bludgeoned.
Exactly.
We don't need the judge to do that.
This whole thing it shows the toxic nature of bureaucracy. And once it gets to a local level, you really see how evil it actually is.
And it's not just bureaucracy, it's partisan politics.
Well, when this should be about community instead of that.
Exactly. And that's why you heard Nicole. What did Nicole say when she first called? What did she say? What was one of the first things she said? Do you remember?
It's about the kids.
No, what did she say, though? I'm not going to talk about anybody's gender or gender identity. It was one of the first things. Now, she's not a trained attorney with a disclaimer. She's a mom. But that was how she worded it, right? So here she is saying, this is not about gender. I'm not going to talk about somebody's gender. That's not what this is about. And she made that very clear from the get-go. She's a good person. She's an honest person. She's being authentic. She's not being, she's not pimping some partisan political situation like the judge is. And this judge was pandering by making that ruling and saying, I'm barring any one of you. Guess what, Judge? Not for nothing, but if I took it to the Supreme Court and I said the kid's name, which I would never do, and I never have done in my whole career, my Emmy Award-winning television news career, which spans more decades than I want to say because I'm always, I'm just saying nobody was going to report the kid's name. Judge, you knew it. Stop pandering. Worry about the case. Worry about keeping dangerous kids out of our schools, off our streets, and get them the help they need. That's the focus, Judge. But this judge is a Democrat and probably still excited that they beat 3 Republicans fairly recently in Montgomery County. So congratulations, by the way, Montgomery County. The way that you vote matters. And so you're voting in these individuals who, by their very actions and their very rulings and their very words, all of these different school boards and all of these different judges, they're more concerned about partisan politics and just toting that line, that D. They're more worried about partisan politics than they are about the safety of your kids in school. That's what that says to me. Boom. 855-839-1210. That's it. I'm out. I'm done. I've had it. I'm so upset. I can't even tell you. If this were my kid or my kid's school, I would be beside myself. The strength of the strength of these parents to come together and then have the dignity, right? There's such a dignified reaction by these parents who, I would be losing my mind, and I'm sure deep down in your heart, if you're one of these parents, you're losing it. But you have such dignity and such respect for law and order, and it shows your strength, and I know your strength of faith and family, but also I will point out that sometimes our greatest strengths reveal our greatest weaknesses because the other side, they go low and they go dirty. And that's what I'm talking about here, that they're not as law-abiding and respectful and dignified. I'm just saying. let's take a quick break and regroup here. I'm very upset, but I'm being dignified. By golly, did you get out and vote? I forgot to ask everybody. We obviously didn't vote here because
I will after work.
Right, because the polls aren't open at 3:30 a.m. All right. Anything else, Ant? I'm fired up.
Yeah, go vote. Go vote. We haven't talked about that all day. Go vote.
We'll be right back.
Okay, the weather is finally getting warmer. Summer's almost here. So Friday, May 3rd, let's get a jump start on summer and head to Cape May.
All right, Sealy Army, the weather's warm. It's time to head down the shore, and I want you to join me for our first live show of the year at my happy place, the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. Hijinks will ensue. You better be there.
Join Rick Sealy for the first live broadcast of 24 at the Grand Hotel in Cape May, Friday, May 3rd, on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
And paid for by 24/7 Holdings, LLC.
Attention business owners. Are you tired of those hefty credit card fees cutting into your profits? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Thanks to the Dodd-Frank Act, there's now a game-changing solution to save you at least 95% on your processing expenses, guaranteed. Imagine processing unlimited transactions for as low as $49 a month. Our patented software gives your customers 2 price points based on how they pay, full or credit card price. It's that simple. And here's the best part. You can enjoy 24/7 support, next-day funding, a virtual terminal, online gateway, and ACH processing. Our patented solution is available in all 50 states, making it the go-to choice for thousands of businesses looking to eliminate processing fees for good. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, call 800-396-1171 now. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to save 95% on processing fees, guaranteed. Call 800-396-1171 and make the change today. That's 800-396-1171. Again, 800-396-1171.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. The road to the NBA Finals starts right now, and new customers on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino can go on their own playoff run with $150. Just place any $5 bet. You'll get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose, to use during the NBA playoffs. As the playoffs continue, you can bet on three-pointers, you can bet on first basket score, tons of other things. Just go to FanDuel.com/Dom to get started. FanDuel.com/DOM. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only, $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Do you want more control over your business spending? Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management platform designed to save you time and money. Ramp offers unlimited corporate cards with spend controls you can customize to stop wasteful spending before it happens. Ramp makes expense reports a breeze by automatically collecting receipts and matching them to the right transaction. You'll close your books in hours instead of days. Ramp allows you to see all your company spend in one place, so you can make quick, informed decisions about your business finances. Plus, Ramp will share insights based on your spending to help you cut costs. Over 15,000 businesses have added up to 5% to their bottom line with Ramp. You can be one of them. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now, get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/250. Ramp.com/250. RAMP.com/250.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Rich Zeoli.
Well, Mr. President, you got a lot of support in Pennsylvania, tremendous support. I've never seen it this big before, honestly. And I know the primary. I know you wish you could be with us, but I just want you to know that the people of Pennsylvania are with you. This is unconscionable what they're doing to you, but we're with you.
You've been so great, and I appreciate it. And get everybody out to vote. They got to get out to vote. We just want to send a signal because I really believe that November 5th, that's Election Day, it will be the most important period, most important day in the history of our country.
Rich Zeoli, weekday afternoons 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
If you're tired of your old kitchen or bathroom, it's so outdated, you need to give my friends at Kitchen Magic a call. They offer no shortage of solutions for any room in your home. With a new vanity and a tub shower conversion, you're going to love that new bathroom. You're going to love the way your kitchen looks, so fresh, updated, plus an industry-leading warranty, a 10-year recipient of Lehigh Valley's top workplaces. They're local, great company, Kitchen Magic. Right now, Kitchen Magic is offering 12 months, no payments, no interest financing with a full 10% off your entire remodel. Just get your free in-home consultation today, kitchenmagic.com, kitchenmagic.com. Make sure you tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, Clementon. Yeah! We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. WPHT.
Yeah, by the way, we're watching for that vote on that $95 billion aid package that the House had passed over the weekend in that rare